Watch who? Hello, and welcome to Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Watching for the very first time.
Very first time.
And, actually, do you know what? I don't have an intro this week. I'm just going to say we're in the Torchwood hub again, as we usually are.
We normally are.
We are. Every time I'm like, we're in the Torchwood hub, chilling out. Welcome back, everybody. We are making our way through Torchwood Series 1 at the moment. And actually, it's been a little bit of time since we recorded. Maybe that's why. A bit rusty.
I'm a little bit rusty for sure. So...
Or do you want to tell everybody how your week has been?
So I have epilepsy. I think have we talked about the fact that I have epilepsy before?
You must have mentioned it.
We must have. I have epilepsy. And I had I had 2 seizures on Saturday. I mean, I've had seizures before. I've had seizures while we've been doing this, that's nothing new. But it's been, the last time I injured myself was 2019 to this extent. Unfortunately, I fell on my face. So I went through my lip with my tooth. I'm going to have a lovely new tooth. I'm going to have a root canal and a crown put on my tooth because it's completely chipped and cut off the tooth and cut off the nerve of the tooth as well. And it went through a hole went through my lip. So I've had to have my lip stitched up. And then along my cheekbone, I've had, I can't remember, what did they say it was, Mark? What did I say it was? Not
a button, like a bone fracture, no.
Yeah, it's like a bone fracture along, under my cheekbone. So it's kind of like sports people get it quite a lot, like if they're hit with balls and things like that. So that's under my cheekbone. And then I had a black eye as well. And this is ridiculous, really gutting, is my glasses broke and I just bought the bloody things. Brand new, I'd had them a month, these brand new glasses. I've had to get in touch about the glasses and they were like, yeah, we don't, I just needed a new arm. The arm's completely snapped. And they're like, oh yeah, we don't do the arm, sorry. You'll have to buy a new pair of glasses. So that's £100 for the glasses. The tooth's going to be 1,500. So, yeah, that's fun. And then obviously all the appointments. My mum was like, don't get a NHS tooth. So I had to go and have a private tooth. And then I had a second seizure while I was having an x-ray done on that day for the dentist while I was having the tooth checked out. That one, I stopped breathing and went blue and purple and caused a right scene. So we were in A&E till 3 a.m. that day.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a long day. So absolutely exhausted, just generally exhausted because obviously it's just 2 seizures. So it's just takes it out of me as well as the actual then injuries and everything on top. So we're a little bit behind because...
Well, I mean, in terms of recording, yeah. So we haven't recorded for a bit. So we recorded with Luke last time. That was the Sunday. And then your seizure was the following Saturday. And now this is the following Friday. So it's been a while for us since we recorded. I was obviously Torchwood was far from your mind this week.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, because we were the Sunday and... it was half term, wasn't it?
And then it was the following week that we ended up. Yeah. So
these things happen, but the plan was that we were going to record on the Sunday, wasn't it?
We were going to do it the day, yeah, because I spoke to you in the morning, and I was like, yeah, it's the next episode, and you were going to be like,
And then, I had other plans.
Yes.
So I'm a little bit slow still. I'm all right. I've watched it, and I've got to a point where I can retain information and things like that. And I had a few days where I literally was just sleeping all the time and stuff. So I've got over that bit and stuff. But I'm a little bit slow at just sometimes piecing things together. So which is a terrible episode for.
I know.
I feel a little bit like Suzie coming back to life. So
I know, of all the episodes. We shall talk about that.
I know. So yeah, if I'm a little bit not as sprightly as I should be, this is why.
Well, it's either that or it's the episode as well. Maybe a combination of both.
It's a combination of the two, I think. I'll be honest, yeah.
Yeah, so it's they keep killing Suzie this week. Actually, before we start though, there has been some Doctor Who news.
Go on.
Big time. I think, when did I send it to you? It must have been a while back. So
you might have, Mark, and the world has been crazy this last week. So it's been nearly a week. It's been wild.
Yeah, well, actually, two things. So one, this Doctor Who spin-off is now going to drop in December.
Yeah.
War Between the Land and the Sea.
I have heard that, yes. I'm really excited about it. Whenever I see the trailers for it, it looks really grown up.
A different tone to Torchwood grown up, an actual, like, drama.
Yeah, it feels like a proper drama. It almost doesn't even feel Doctor Who.
So we'll see. I'm not sure what the
cast is amazing. I mean, Russell Tovey is an amazing actor, so I love things that he's in.
So we'll, looking forward to that, and earlier than expected, which is quite good. So I don't know how up to Christmas that's going to be, but I think it's a few episodes at a time or something like that. We'll see. Also, Doctor Who is coming back December 2026.
Yes, I did know that.
Like, because when, like, again, historical times on this podcast, I've talked a lot about, I absolutely thought when Billie Piper turned up, we would have caught up on the podcast by the time there was any kind of episode or anything. I really thought we were in for that massive few years, but it probably does mean there'll be a whole new Doctor and series before we catch up now.
At least the Christmas episode.
So I think the statement was there's a Christmas episode, and then in due course they will announce details of the new series.
I think from what they've said, the Christmas episode will be Russell T Davies's last, and they'll announce a new series writer.
And presumably a new Doctor along the same time. Who knows?
I think they'll have to announce the writer first, and then it depends who the writer is who's coming on board.
Yeah, but they would have to start work if it's going to be like Christmas and then something in 27. We would have to know. We'll know soon. Well, into New Year.
But I guess that comes down to that. I think Russell T Davies will do some sort of swan song of a Christmas episode.
I bet David Tennant
and
will
we'll finish that something that started with Billie Piper.
Yeah,
it'll be sort of like you started this, you can end it, or you can do something with it.
I mean, it's not going to happen, but actually what they could do is undo it all a bit, and Ncuti Gatwa could do another series if he's still available. It's not like he's gone to Hollywood all of a sudden, has he? If he's suddenly available now and they can undo that and just carry on, I wouldn't mind that, actually. But I don't think that is going to happen. I think he is done with it, and it's all not in his... I think he's over it. But
I can imagine at this point, I think if it was further along, but I think at this point, I don't think he'd want to go back.
No, I know, but it would be, if it was his availability issue is what made him leave, or obviously the Disney deal issue is what happened, then, yeah. Anyway, so what have we had? When we started this podcast, Jodie Whittaker had just started. We only really had 2 Doctors cast in the time that we've been doing the podcast. But, well, it depends what you count as Doctors and stuff, and David Tennant coming back and all that, so... we should get on to today's episode, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we probably should.
Oh, God. See, I don't know what you think about this episode, but I'm getting some vibes.
Yeah, go on, let's just start it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go... well, they keep killing Suzie, so... We start off with a bit of a recap from episode 1 because we need to know about the Resurrection Gauntlet and what happened to Suzie and everything at the beginning. And that was quite a shock in that first episode where she got shot because we thought she was a regular member of Torchwood and all of that, and that worked really well. Then we go straight into the usual procedural. Torchwood are investigating something on a very sunny day, and nothing dates a TV show than all the sunglasses they were wearing.
Do you know what I thought? They were all wearing their 2000s sunglasses. Yeah.
All of them looked out of date now. All of them. And we've got a brutal crime and Torchwood in blood and everything. So that's quite a good little setup.
Yeah.
And in part of this investigation, they find out about this retcon has been used, is in their blood. So I don't think we've talked about retcon before. I thought it was a bigger thing. So what? That's the drug, like the amnesia drug that Jack gives Gwen first time round when she finds out about
I
Torchwood.
picked that up, but it wasn't very clear to begin with to me, no. But I did pick that up quite quickly, yeah.
Because retcon, I felt like it was a bigger thing already, but I don't think we have seen it used. I mean, apart from that conversation in the first episode, because like retcon became at some point, in like a continuity or something, or the writers deliberately leave something out or write something that's different, or people say, oh, they've retconned that idea in that episode, or they've retconned this or whatever. Retconning a storyline or retconning a character is definitely in the fan vocabulary now. I don't know if it was or not, but that's why it just, when they started talking about it, I completely forgot about it. What else happens then? Oh, here we go. Okay, so they want to use the glove again, and we've seen that in action, and I'm guessing that you found Gwen annoying in this episode.
I did. I found her more annoying in other episodes. I found her as frustrating as I have previously.
Well, only because when they're like, oh, no one can use the glove, Jack tries to use the glove, and then Gwen's like, well, I've not used it. It could work, it's me, and of course it's going to work on Gwen the best because it's Gwen, and she's,
It all moved very quickly. I think for me, how do I say this? This story had a lot of promise, and the writing didn't annoy me. I think what annoyed me about this story was the direction and the budget.
Oh.
Okay? I think that the budget didn't match to what the ambition of the story maybe was. Or maybe I don't know. Sometimes it just didn't. I don't know. I can't put my finger on what. I was really looking forward to this story because actually we know Suzie. We've met Suzie before. It had that epic like Torchwood in blood. So and then it shows Suzie coming back to life. The title is like, they keep bringing Suzie, whatever, like it's got a lot of promise as a story. And as an idea, I was like, oh, this seems quite cool. So I kind of expected that Gwen was going to do that role. None of that kind of bothered me. I just kind of felt like the ambition didn't match what was being shown or presented.
Well, it does seem like a cheaper episode. In Doctor Who, when they do like a smaller scale episode.
This was very much a small scale episode. I mean, look, they did a lockdown. And how did they do a lockdown from a really old poem? And then how did they get it out? From the ISBN number. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's great.
It was just so shit, Mark. It was like the shittest thing ever. Like, I want something cool and like, I want them to, if they're going to do it, I wanted it. They've got a huge book there. Why was it some sort of like sonnet number? It's like, oh wait, it could be the ISBN number on the back. I was like, that'll figure out the membrane. I was like, what are you talking about? Like the ISBN, you're going to type in the, it just felt like it was the cheap shit version. And it was such a shame because I really wanted to love it. There were a few little moments that like, I mean, I'm being really critical. I'm jumping around it, like that just made me laugh. Like when they're in the car and they're going, when Jack's going to thingy, how long have they got? And they're going, minutes. And then literally it's like daylight and suddenly we're like at the harbour and the sun's up. Like we've been travelling all night, suddenly minutes. And it's like daylight. I'm like, oh, we're here. Okay. I don't know.
Well, it's gone for like action. It's gone for character over action. It's not like got any big sequences. The action sequences is just Gwen and Suzie in a car for a long time. It's like a long car journey episode, isn't it?
The bits that like I wanted it to really work, it didn't. And then there were other bits that I thought did work. The bit at the end when she has that moment with Jack, or even in the club when they're like, I thought like, oh, do you know what? Yeah, the fact that this has been set up ages ago, and she's like, I was like, that's a really clever idea. I love that she's like set this up in this group, and she's like been telling these things for years and years. All very clever. I loved all that. It just felt like it's cheap shit cousin, though. That didn't quite fit or work for me.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is get that Suzie Gwen character stuff together, because like Gwen is Suzie's replacement, and to have them like face each other and have that chat at the table about the differences and stuff, I think that was a good point of the episode.
For me as well, maybe it was there were times with Suzie where Suzie's character was really one-dimensional. I just didn't believe, right? They've known Suzie for years and years, and they've worked with her. Either Suzie had always been this complete psycho bitch and none of them knew.
But then Gwen makes a point. It was like, well, you worked with her every day, but you didn't know her, and they didn't know about her family or know about anything else. So that's sort of the point, that they didn't know that she was this killer and she'd gone... Well, maybe the hand thing made her go insane a little bit and kill people. Maybe you could explain that away, but then they didn't know anything about her.
The Suzie that we got at the end, this Suzie almost was like, I don't know, she was almost like yeah. It felt like a different Suzie again. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like
right at the end, I think when she's got that power, I think it's to do with getting the power and getting the life back and stuff. And
yeah, but the Suzie that got at the end, who was like, and then shot Jack and like made and planned this. That's the other element of this.
Well, she would have been doing it for months and months.
Well,
I think that's a great twist, because I remember watching this episode for the first time and not having, and when you find out that twist that she planned that and it had been like the vocal mechanisms and stuff, really clever stuff, that it was her idea the whole time.
Yeah, I loved that. I loved it as an idea. I think I would have liked to have seen when she was in the cells, when they were talking with her, I think I would have liked to have seen a bit more of like the original version of her, not this like arsey version.
But I suppose we didn't see her much in that first episode, really. We saw her like, what's the thing with the sparks? And she was like welding stuff for a long time in that first episode. She was just welding.
But then she was going like, oh, why don't you just kill me? Why don't you let me see my dad? She was so like angry and argumentative. What are you doing? And then when she went and pulled the plugs out of her father, oh my gosh, I was like, brilliant.
But they were all sort of moody and like that before Gwen, though, weren't they? They all can be a bit like that. Owen was like that, and my favourite moment was when Gwen and Suzie were talking, and then Suzie was like, "Yeah, I slept with Owen as well." That was a good moment.
She was a very like one-sided like bitch character in it, and I kind of was like, and she was, "Oh yeah, you just replaced me." I thought, and I can see. To Gwen's like, oh, I'm going to be really nice. And like, I offered something different, like she does. I think it would have just been smarter if Suzie's character tried to like see like, oh no, try and weed her way in with Gwen. Oh no, trying to have some sympathy.
Well,
I don't know.
She did a bit, because then Gwen took her on that car journey because of Gwen's empathy. She's the only one in Torchwood that would.
Yeah, but I think that's just because Gwen's empathy rather than because Suzie had empathy with her.
And it also, I suppose this episode also does a little bit in terms of like how Torchwood treats you, and then like afterwards and stuff, all her stuff's in that locker and all of that kind of thing. It shows you what Torchwood does. So it does quite a few things, but I quite liked it that it wasn't a big alien thing or it's a smaller story, definitely. Yeah. But I was watching them in the car, all those car scenes. I was thinking, I bet you're either loving it or you're so bored and you want this to end.
Yeah, I was sort of like in between. I was just kind of like, it's just not going anywhere for me, or just go somewhere. It's because we've had such great stories. And then like this one and last week's were a little bit of a slight plateau.
Well, you have like certain, like in the Doctor Who's, you have certain episodes and then you get like those sort of filler ones for a few weeks. The cheap weeks, they've got to have a few cheap weeks. Yeah, so they brought Suzie back. No one at like Tosh and Owen didn't really have much to do. And there's nothing really following up from Tosh from last week on her stuff. There's nothing of the Gwen and the Owen stuff. Again, like, that's all just stop. Although, okay, I'm going to just skip to the end to be like the weirdest moment in this episode. the Yanto and Jack stopwatch conversation that just comes out of nowhere. Because Yanto's in it a bit, as usual. He just turns up and does the usual stuff. And there's this like stop. And then at the end, he's like inviting him to his office and stuff. I was like, it just comes out of nowhere. They haven't hardly interacted since like the Cyberwoman stuff. What were you thinking of that? Did you like?
I was kind of like, here we go. All right. We've blown off some steam, I guess.
It's so weird just to come out of nowhere at the end like that.
But I also think it kind of, I don't know, I think it wasn't a full like, oh, here we go. It was kind of like, because he says something like, what should I put on the death certificate? Oh, I don't know. And what does he say? He says something and it makes him sort of, it gives him a second to think, doesn't it? No, he says about the hand, like, it can always be.
Oh, there's, it comes in a pair. There's another one.
I think it sort of sets the scene of like, oh, here we go. It's not like Gwen and
No, but it was a bit of a weird, just sort of out of nowhere at that sort of ending. You know, it's all wrapping up, and then suddenly they just have this moment. Going back a bit, I'm just going to go through my notes because we've gone all over the place. But I'll go through my notes.
Yeah, my fault.
So obviously they wake up Suzie and everything. That's interesting. They find out that she's been going to this group. I wrote down that she's going to Vineyard Church. She's been going to this group. But that's an interesting thing, actually, with Suzie as well, because it's showing similarities with Gwen, because Gwen found out about Torchwood, all this stuff, her way of dealing with it. She goes and sleeps with Owen and stuff. Suzie was doing that thing, talking about it. She needed to talk to someone about it, and then she's been retconning him the whole time as well. So I think that was genuine. I don't think that was part of her plan. I think because she'd been doing it for like years, I don't think that was her, or in her intention was just to let out steam and talk to someone about all the weird alien things. So again, you've got sort of these newbies in Torchwood, and it could either go the Suzie way or the Gwen way. I don't know. Vote on which is worse. Yeah, I quite like that. I've put a note. I can't believe we've not talked about this yet. All of those overview shots of Cardiff Bay, it's really nice seeing the carousel there. The carousel is always there. I always love to spot the carousel, which is usually there. You know, the thing with the horses.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is it still there? It's gone now, hasn't it?
It used to be there a long time, and then it moved a bit further along, and then it comes back sometimes. But we're in the carousel days. There's a carousel down Cardiff Bay all the time, and it's in all the shots in Torchwood. I looked up what club they were going to. Well, no,
what club was that? I was trying to work it out.
I went on the website and it's not listed on the locations website. I thought that was Pulse. Probably, or whichever one. And maybe it was the same one that they were in with the sex gas one.
I wonder if it was like, do you remember that club? It's like near the castle. It was like an underground one. Gosh.
Oh, I know which one. Opposite on the castle. It used to be bar.
Yeah. Yes.
Used to be the rock bar or whatever, and then it got turned into something else.
Yes. Because it was a rock bar.
Yeah, maybe. I can't remember which.
And obviously it's supposed to be a rock club.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was. It was a very alternative club they were in, weren't they? They were like looking. I mean, that gave it a little bit of. I like it when they all go out and they're on a mission, and then Tosh's on the computer being like, "No, look this way." It gave it a little bit of something, but it was all a bit of a.
That's the only place I could think of that it could be. But I can't remember what it was called. Rockfly or something like that. Barfly. Yeah, and where did they say they go though?
I can't remember. I don't know if
I didn't even catch it. They said it so quick, I didn't even catch where they said.
It could be. We'll say it's there. You can't go. It's not there everyone, so doesn't matter. Oh, I've put as well then. So, cut a long story short, they find out they got the guy in the prison. They find out Suzie and Gwen's conversation at the table. And then I've written down it's Gwen's turn to go rogue this time. They're either smuggling someone in or smuggling someone out. They've all had a go now. Yanto, Tosh. Oh, has Owen done it yet? Actually, no, Owen hasn't done anything yet. But it's Gwen's turn to go rogue. And Jack also says, when they're watching her on CCTV, like, she's going to lose her job. And we're like, finally.
It was interesting watching it after, because I remember thinking, God, I wonder if she'll be in for a disciplinary or something.
No, they never are. I mean, Yanto did that whole Cyberwoman thing. There was no disciplinary after that. They just don't. He just keeps them on. Unless you're like Suzie. Like, that's a thing. What Suzie? Okay, so I suppose Suzie murdered a load of people on purpose. That was the big difference. If she just used the glove or whatever and done something a bit nefarious like that, Jack would be absolutely fine with it. It's because she killed some people. That's why. I did quite like the police, because they get locked in, they phone the police, all of that stuff. I quite like that. And the poetry, so I think it's clever with the words and everything. I mean, it's a bit obvious because obviously when they go in the lockup, that's the book that Jack finds is the one that is going to be the most obvious thing. I mean, and I suppose logically as well, if you put like all these different things, they all rely. I think there are plot holes in this. If you look at it, and it's like if one thing was out of place, then Susie's plan would not work at all, and none of it would have happened. But and then ISBN, how clever! ISBN, Tosh has got the knowledge. ISBN.
I've no time for that.
I remember learning ISBN in primary school and being like, telling everyone, being like, I know what ISBN means. It's the International Standard Book Number. And they've all got their own individual numbers. That's the best fact I learned in primary school, ISBN. Where were you, listeners, when you learned what ISBN was? I think it's amazing. Is that in the whole world?
I think so, yeah. You only have one per...
Oh, International. Yeah, it must be. I'm surprised that hasn't been done in a Doctor Who, actually, ISBN. And then I've written, obviously, Suzie and Gwen go on a long car journey. So they end up, though, it's Barry Docks they end up at. I mean, in the episode, it's called something else, but that's actually Barry. I quite like the whole life force thing, swapping over, but then, it's lucky that Owen just happened, to be looking back at the footage in, like, infrared or something.
Yeah, of course he was.
Yeah, I mean, but I like that idea. It's a good idea. And obviously Gwen doesn't know, and then once we know, we can start seeing it, and Gwen is getting more and more. Oh, and obviously Owen is caring for Gwen in that moment, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what he does.
But then also there's that whole, like, is it Jack's fault that he treated not treated Suzie badly, but, like, gave her too much power or stuff like that? That goes back to, like, the Doctor and his companion sort of thing, isn't it? You know, sometimes the Doctor doesn't see the impact of the everyday person, sort of, do you know what I mean? Or the impact he's having. It's like Jack is Gwen is supposed to be that conscience again. Yeah, Gwen wasn't so bad in it, but there were quite a few moments where I was like, yeah, she's just been useless. She's just been too, like, I'm Gwen, so it's going to be. I feel like it's the equivalent of, maybe we said this last week, actually. No, I'm just saying the same thing we said last week. Did we say it was like the Idiot's Lantern or Fear Her or something? We said that the other week about one of them.
Yeah, it just wasn't wonderful.
Well, we saw more Suzie. I suppose that's a plus. Because it's cheap, because you don't have that many guest stars, you don't have that many locations, you're sticking a camera in a car, you're in the hub most of the time, possibly at Barfly one night. That's it. Nothing else. No other characters. No other. This would have been a good one where Reese could have phoned up and had a chat to Gwen or something.
Yeah, there's no Reese in this at all.
We haven't seen him for a couple of weeks. I think that would have been, especially with this talk, the comparisons between Suzie and Gwen and the conversations, these two characters meeting. I think at some point maybe Gwen could have given Reese a call, or there could have been another moment there. Maybe. I
think that's something that's missing. Is a bit of Reese time.
Well, there we are. Okay, well, we'll leave it there because we can't keep talking about Suzie. We can't do it. That's it. That's all the Suzie chat we've got, everyone. Anything else about Suzie? This is your last chance to talk about Suzie. Well, the next one is called Random Shoes.
Hey, that looks interesting.
I think that is a more fan favourite one, I think. Random Shoes. I'm not sure if I'm keen on it though, actually, from what I remember, but I know people like it's a bit different. And I think these were different. I didn't recognise the writers' names at all on this one. So I think they are using different people and trying out different things. I'm surprised this isn't like a Ross T. Davis one, because he would, or Chris Chibnall or someone who would normally, with the main characters, when there's an episode with just the main characters and like stuff happening, sometimes that goes to the series writers and stuff rather than a random person. But if you are a fan of Suzie, everybody, there are many Big Finish stories set pre episode 1 of Torchwood out there. She's I can think of at least like 5 stories she has starring Suzie on audio. if you are a fan of her and want more. I don't think that's going to be Sarah, though.
No. Well, I don't know. I like Susie as an idea. That's the thing.
Well, we'll see if she comes up in conversation again. I'm saying that like I know, but I cannot remember at all if she does or not. So it'll be a surprise to me if there is any more Susie. But no, I think it was a good idea. And at this point, it had to be a bit later in the series because we sort of had to have forgotten it a little bit and had all the other stuff first. What are we on, episode 8, I think? Episode 8? Does feel like we've been doing Torchwood longer.
Oh, tell me about it.
And I realise by editing these every week, I'm like, we're almost halfway through. I've been saying that since like episode 4. No, we absolutely do not have that many left. So don't worry. We're back on Doctor Who soon. I haven't got anything else to say, really. Okay, well, we will see you all next time then for Random Shoes. In the meantime, you can follow us at 2WatchWho on our social medias and at 2WatchWho on patreon.com. I'll just say shout out to Lucas, who got 10 out of 10 on Doctor or Dalai Lama quiz on our Patreon. Well done.
Well done.
Beat me. So you can head over there and check that out. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
2 Watch Who.